Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel, Created by Rebecca. In this week's video, we are going to unbox and begin opening my advent calendar for 2025. Let's get started. This year I have moved away from art supplies for my advent calendar and I've actually bought a pre-made one. This is from the Crafty kit company, and it is their needle felting advent calendar, and I'm really excited to have a look. The box is open and there are reasons for that, which I'll explain later, and it also means that I can show you the incredible book that comes with this calendar to help you make it. So the box is huge. And inside there's this really gorgeous tote bag that contains everything, the whole kit. It's lovely. That's a day's worth of gift in itself, I think. And you get a really nice Happy Christmas postcard on the top, some festive red tissue paper. And the first thing you get, which I think in previous calendars people have called the little bag of fun or something like that. Don't know. And I think it came in a separate printed bag before. But this time we have an organza bag. I don't mind that. I like organza bags. I can see what's in them. And it contains a really nice little needle felting pad, a woolen felting pad. We get a packet of needles, and they give us 2 green and 2 blue. The green is triangle and the blue is a twist. We get a little packet of what looks like beads, glass beads. We get some gold embroidery thread. We get a whole thing of hemline fast and tacky glue. We get some foresty green embroidery thread. We'll get a little pack of bells, tiny, tiny bells. We get a sheet of stick and stitch. Fun, festive designs, cut out your designs. Stick, stitch and rinse away the fabric stabilizer. Okay. I've not used that before. We get a reel of thread and a needle. And, possibly most excitingly, some biscuits and some tea. I've just gone off and made myself a cup of tea, and I've got my biscuits ready. So as I said before, this book is quite incredible. It is full colour, really beautifully printed. It talks to you about what they've done over the last 5 years, how they've made a bit of a community for this, and you can join the Facebook group and follow along with the videos. I'm going to talk to you more about that in a moment. They ask us to not share photos too early, so I am actually filming this in arrears so that I'm not opening and filming and posting these ahead of anybody opening their own advent calendar, because I wouldn't want to spoil the surprise for you. It does give you a contents list on the front page and tell you exactly what you're going to get. I did actually have my husband just sort of flick open a couple of pages to see how far along I could go within the book. There's a really great before you begin, so even if you're an absolute beginner with this, it gets you started. Something it also does, which I think is genius, is on this particular layout, it gives you a printed ruler So when it's saying, oh, well, this bit's got to be 3 centimetres long, and you think, yeah, I think I know what 3 centimetres looks like. You just flip to this page in the book rather than having to go and find a ruler or a tape measure, and you can check the size of the thing that you're making to make sure it's sort of going to be about the right size. Very clever. Love it. So that's it. That then gets you into the projects. A lovely tote bag comes filled with bags like this. Paper, fully recyclable, love that. No plastic. I don't think there's any plastic anywhere apart from some sellotape on the box. And yes, a couple of these packets are open. And again, I will explain why in a second. The packs come as 2 days. So this is days 1 and 2. And today we're going to open 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Now, I bought and paid for this advent calendar myself entirely. I selected it from all the companies out there who are doing needle felting advent calendars. I chose to do this one. And in October, I think, they sent out an email to everybody who had ordered the advent calendar and asked them if they would like to audition to film one of the packs for their community. So they have a page which is called Crafting My Way to Happiness, and I think they also then put it up on their YouTube channel and also on their Instagram. And I thought, I already make videos about making things, I could do that. So I submitted a 30-second clip. No idea how short 30 seconds is until you try and do something creative in a video and talk as well. If you can hear bonking in the background, I'm afraid that's Mr. Stompy, my tortoise. He's having a good old stamp around in his enclosure. Bless him. Yes, and the day that I received my advent calendar in its big box, I also received a second packet which had 2 further kits in it, and that was for days 5 and 6. And I got to film that, and it's just gone up live on their Facebook group, Crafting Your Way to Happiness. I'll put a link to it. And yeah, that was really good fun. So hence, a couple of my bags are open already. And I'll explain to you on days 5 and 6 why I've opened bag 1 and 2. And in fact, it was my husband that opened it for me because I asked him to. Anyway, pretend you are opening this with me for the first time. Day 1 and 2. Round and soft with colours so bright, it greets the season with warmth and light. Hung on a door, it spins with care, a welcome to all who pass by there. So each day gets a little saying, a little clue to help you work out what's going to be in the kit. And I believe, unlike some advent calendars I've seen, I believe that every 2 days is an actual project. I know that some calendars do it that on one day you'll get a pack of needles or something, or you'll get a felting pad. You could see that they've given that all to us already, which means you can start straight away with felting. You haven't got to wait 3 days before you get your needles. Ooh. Ooh. There's quite a lot in this one. Crikey. There we go. We've got 3 colours of carded wool. Really nice, bright, zingy colours. Very festive. And 2, 4, 6, 8 little pre-felted balls. And a strand of ribbon. So we go back to our book. Days 1 and 2. We're going to be making a miniature wreath. So these balls will be the basis for the things that we're going to make. So that's really fun. Now, I'm not really going to take you through each project because A, that would take forever, and B, this is their designs. You know, we've paid for this, and all the people who have ordered this advent calendar have paid for this. So that would be really unfair of me to almost demonstrate them to you. But you will get to see the finished results. So there you go, that's days 1 and 2, and I'll show you at the end what I have made. Let's move on to days 3 and 4. I waddle through snow, a little bit bold, with feathers so white and a spirit so cold. Okay. A festive companion with wings that will glide, ready to craft, a joy to reside. Why has he got a cold spirit? That's very strange. We got 4 colours of wool. I did already use this sort of mustardy colour, but there was a scarlet, raven and white, and then mustard as well. It is a winter goose, and he was really good fun to make. A couple of the instructions did leave me scratching my head a little bit, particularly the shaping of the head, but do you know what? I don't mind. Mine almost looks more like a duck than a goose, and again I don't mind that. I decided that I would clip into the ends of the scarf, so it has shed a little bit of the red onto the white there, but again I don't mind. I think this is quite nice because it does leave you space to add your own little sort of personalisations, really. But yeah, I thought he came out really sweet, and the idea is that he sits on a shelf or something and his legs dangle over. Yeah, actually mine does look more like a duck, doesn't it? Something to do with the head shape. Nonetheless, I like him. He's very cute. Days 5 and 6. This is the project that I got to make for my film. And the reason this pack isn't open is that they very kindly gave me 2 packs to work with. So you get to have a play about and make the first one on your own, figure it out. They give you the instructions, obviously. And then when you actually come to film it, the idea is that you've got a finished one you can hold up and say, this is what we're going to be making. And then you go ahead and you make it with the second kit they've given you. But what I would say is there's plenty of wool. So even if you weren't very accurate and used a bit more wool than perhaps you thought they were asking you to use, you're going to still have wool left over. So I reckon in this particular one, you could make at least 2 of the thing that this makes. We'll have a look at it in just one moment. Fluff and warmth in a festive form, a woolly companion, snug and warm. With a bauble or wreath, I'm the perfect match, creating a gift with a soft woolly catch. And we get 3 colours of wool again. What's nice is they've reused the same colours so far, so that means that if you felt like your goose needed a little bit more felt on the boot, if you had run out in your kit, you could probably use some leftovers from one of the others, bundle them all up together and keep them for something else. You've got options. So we've got the scarlet, raven and white. Again, carded wool, which is really nice because it felts up really nicely. Far easier than the kits that have got roving or tops in them, because that's much smoother, much finer, really hard to felt. But this is really nice, again, for beginners. It just makes it easy. So I wasn't paid to do this review. This is my money that I have spent on this kit. When I was offered the opportunity to film this project for their advent calendar, that was completely separate to me buying the advent calendar, other than they knew I was going to be making something from their advent calendar. They did offer anybody who submitted a film a £30 gift voucher for the Crafty Kit Company, and obviously you've got 2 extra kits that you could make the film with, but there was no other remuneration and there was no incentive to actually buy the calendar. You didn't know until you bought the calendar that that was an option. So these opinions are mine. That's what I'm trying to say. These opinions are mine. Okay, days 5 and 6. Let's just see how far we need to go. That's still the goose. Another picture of the goose. Days 5 and 6 is a Snowball the sheep. And he's very cute. As I say, we're not going to look at the instructions for him, but here is my first one. And he is lovely. He's got very straight legs. The instructions tell you to make them with slightly flared out legs. So the one I made for the video, A, is a tiny bit smaller, which is more along the size that they were suggesting. I misinterpreted the instruction for how to measure out the wool for this one. It said 1 palm length of wool to make the body. Now, as I said in my little how-to video, you might interpret that as a palm, or you might interpret that as the palm, which is how I made this one. They do actually mean that. So you're only going to measure 1, 2, and that will be enough wool to ball up to make the body, and you end up with something a little bit more that size. I didn't felt him terribly firm either. He's still quite fluffy. And I ended up therefore keeping the other bits and pieces a bit smaller as well. You can see his legs are way more flared out, which is a bit more how they have him in the book. So this one stands up quite nicely, and this one it does, but also I thought he looked rather cute with a ribbon round his middle, like a bauble, and he sort of looks like he's flying, which I thought was very sweet. Speed was everything with this particular one, so he isn't quite as good, but I can always carry on working on him to improve the face. And this one has a much better face. I actually prefer the way I've made this one. Never mind. And to give him his own little bit of personality, because I thought he looked a bit bare in the rear department, I made this little tiny decoration for his tail, which is sort of 3 holly berries and a couple of holly leaves. Just so that if he was a bauble, because I reckon you could put some cord or something, and he happened to spin round, he'd have a little something going on his tail. So that then also explains why days 1 and 2 was open, because obviously you don't get any green in this kit, but I had my husband just have a quick look through the first couple of days worth of projects to see whether we got any green wool, and sure enough we did on days 1 and 2, and that meant I could make that little extra. And here's my finished project for days 1 and 2. It's this little bauble wreath. Now, I'll be honest, I enjoyed making this least out of the 3 projects so far. It was quite detail heavy for a first project. All the baubles have got a different design on it, and they do say that you can, customize it, do your own thing. They want you to stick it together with the tacky glue, but I hated that from the moment I applied it. I just felt like there was no chance it was going to stick. I wasn't happy. So I ended up, and yes, I am fiddling with it, sorry. I ended up actually running a needle and thread round it instead, and I'm much happier. Yes, it wiggles. I have also just very carefully felted through where the balls sort of meet each other. I've just used quite a strong needle to needle felt through and just secure them. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't start with that one, because I think I would have been a bit cross by the end of day 2 on that one. But it does look cute now it's finished. I'm happy that it's done. I didn't enjoy the gluing, and I wish I'd stuck with my gut feeling that I should have sewn it rather than gluing it, because now there's glue over everything, including me, and I broke 2 needles. One from this kit and one was another one. I wanted the thicker one to try and felt through this, but it was awkward angles, so I think it was purely mechanics that broke it, not the fact that anything was too hard or... Yeah. As you can see, it is now much later. It is completely dark outside. That did take me a hot minute to do. Let's see, I started about 2 o'clock and it's now 7. This was supposed to be a 3-hour project, and I did work on it solidly. But it's done. Hooray! And here's a quick look at all my projects so far. Days 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6 in the middle. It is a fun kit. I am enjoying it. I just don't like glue. So that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to keep your eye out for the rest of the Advent Calendar unboxing videos coming up over successive weeks. So I will be opening them after the days that people would have been opening them, so that I don't spoil anything for people. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye.